Good day to each and everyone. I'm CJ Banag.
I'm Hersigine T. Salas.
I'm Lianmer.
I'm Lian V. Esperanza.
I'm Ivan Sarel Vigalanga.
I'm Jaid P. Boral.
I am Jan Elbinep Gonzalez.
I am Jenny Sanchez.
And we are the reporters for the sport volleyball. History of volleyball. So sino nga ba ang nag-imbento o nag-isip upang mailunsad ang sports na volleyball? Si William G. Morgan invented volleyball, originally called as mintonet, in 1895. William is a physical director of the Young Men's Christian Association in Holyoke, Massachusetts. He developed the game to provide an indoor game for winter months. Nung na-imbento ang volleyball, originally it was only an indoor game, but as time passes by, nilalaro na rin ito sa outdoor courts, local parks, on grass, or clay soil ground. And ang pinakakilala na outdoor volleyball ay sa beach, which is called the beach volleyball. Volleyball was designed for men who found the game of basketball too vigorous and intense. So paano nga ba naging volleyball ang tawag sa larong ito from its original name, mintonet? Volleyball was called mintonet because of its similarity with badminton. However, Professor Alfred T. Halstead renamed the sports as volleyball in 1896. Dahil based sa kanyang observation, the players volleyed the ball back and forth over a high net. As a result, ginanap ang first official volleyball game that was played on July 7, 1896 at Springfield College in Massachusetts. At bilang dagdag kaalaman bago tayo mag-proceed, in 1900s, the first specially designed ball for the sport was created by Spalding. And in 2008, the company Mikasa developed and manufactured a new design, and it was the first major design change in over 100 years.
Nature of the game, volleyball. Volleyball game played by two teams consists of 2 to 6 players. Volleyball game played by two teams usually of 6 players on a sides, in which the players use their hands to bat a ball back and forth over a high net, trying to make the ball touch the court within the opponent's playing area before it can be returned. The objective of the game was to volley the ball back and forth over a high net. Nature of the game, volleyball. The object of volleyball is to hit the volleyball over the net by only using your hands, running through the center of the court while trying to get it to bounce in your opponent's half. The opposing team had to try and prevent the ball from bouncing before returning the ball. 25 points, win a set, and 5 sets the winner is the first team to win 3 sets. Only 1 point at a time is scored for a successful play, a game played by one by team that first scored 25 points, provided the winning team is ahead by 2 or more points, except in the 5th set when a team needs to score only 15 points and win by 2 points.
In 1947, the Federation International de Volleyball or FIVB came to existence, and volleyball became an official game. FIVB was created in Europe. So ano nga ba ang purpose at role ng FIVB pagdating sa volleyball? Binuo ang FIVB para magkaroon ng international governing body ang sports na volleyball. Sa madaling salita, ang FIVB ay ang responsible in governing of all forms of volleyball on a global level. For example, they are responsible for producing major events including the Olympic Games, World Championships, World Cup, World League, and World Grand Prix.
Let's now move forward to the player positions in volleyball, which are the setter, hitter, middle blocker, libero, and defensive specialist. First is setter. The setter is the main contributor to the offense of the volleyball team, considered as the hardest position. The setter is the player that sets the volleyball to the hitters and is often considered the most important of the volleyball positions. So bakit nga ba importante ang setter and bakit din nasabi na mahirap ito? Because the setter is responsible sa offense and also in charge of setting the ball up for their teammates to attempt a spike. And the other responsibilities ng setter are the blocking, digging, and even occasionally hitting the volleyball. Ano nga ba ang requirements of a good setter? Well, one of the requirements of a setter is having a delicate touch to set the ball perfectly for one of the attacking players. Also, communication is extremely important for the setter kasi everyone or all the players need to be in their correct spots, and also for communicating the play to their teammates before the serve. Without the setter, there wouldn't be hard spikes or technical ball movement. Let's now move forward to the hitter. The hitter has two types. First is the outside hitter. The outside hitter, also known as the left side hitter, and is the lead attacker in the offensive strategy. Ano nga bang responsibility or ano nga ba ang ginagawa ng isang outside hitter? Outside hitter is the player that hits and blocks from the left spot on the volleyball court. Each team consists of 2 outside hitters that are tasked with everything, including hitting, blocking, passing, digging, and serving. They are often the player who is set the most during a volleyball match and are therefore considered to be the most reliable. To be a successful outside hitter, you must be able to jump high, be quick on your feet, and be ready to adapt to different situations. The volleyball won't always be placed where the outside hitter would like, so they need to be prepared for hits from a variety of places. The outside hitter is often the focal point of the offense and completes most of the attack hits. They must be able to adjust to sets coming from any location as well as hit from the front and back rows. Next type of hitter is the opposite hitter. Opposite hitter, also known as the right side hitter. These players need to be a perfect balance of both offense and defense. They will get many opportunities to hit the ball. Similar lang din ang opposite hitter sa outside hitter in terms of jumping ability since it is vital. Ang pinagkaiba lang in terms of set is that the opposite hitter apart is their defensive responsibility. Being able to receive the serve from the opposing team is just one of many requirements of this specialized position. It is a terrific volleyball position for lefties because the ball doesn't have to cross their entire body prior to a spike. While the opposite hitter does play in the back row, they don't usually pass during serve-receive. And the position of place of the opposite is the net on the right side of the court. The opposite is responsible for blocking the opponent's outside hitter and also helps out with blocking their middle if appropriate. Ano nga ba ang pinagkaiba ng opposite and outside hitter? The outside hitters are primarily responsible sa pag-atake while the opposite hitters, sila yung tumutulong in terms of blocking, the opposing team's outside hitter and sometimes being a backup setter if needed.
Middle blocker. The middle blocker, sometimes known as the middle hitter, usually the tallest player on the volleyball team. Kung makikita natin sa court, ang middle blocker ay palaging nasa gitna. Sa opensa ay pwede din silang maging spiker at mas effective sa kanila ang play na quick. Pagdating naman sa depensa, sila naman ang numero 1 involved pagdating sa pag-block sa atake ng kalaban. Libero. The libero can become confusing for non-volleyball players. They can only play on the back row of the court. Ang mga libero ang pinakamabilis na player sa court dahil sila ang tagahabol ng mga out of control na mga bola. Sila din ang may ibang kulay ng uniform sa buong team at pwede silang maglabas-pasok sa loob ng court nang walang paalam sa referee o walang opisyal na substitution. Ngunit, hindi sila pwedeng maglaro ng offense tulad ng serving at spiking at sa back row lang ng court sila nakakalaro. Defensive Specialist. The thing that sets the defensive specialists apart from other volleyball positions in their ability to substitute out any player on the court. So itong defensive specialist is all-around player siya. Pwede niyang magawa ang role ng any position sa volleyball.
Now, Let's have the equipments in volleyball.
Volleyball ball. Volleyball ball are used to score points during a volleyball match. The ball can be served, passed, hit, blocked, and dug by every player on each team. When the ball touches the ground, it is scored a point for the opposing team of the side where the ball landed in bounds. Every point involves using a volleyball. Volleyball ball usually come in two sizes, youth and adult. The youth ball has a circumference of around 25 to 26 inches, while the adult volleyball has a circumference measuring 25.5 to 26.5 inches.
Volleyball attire for men and women's player in volleyball. In competitive player, regular indoor volleyball and city volleyball players wear jerseys that display each player's last name and number in consecutive order from 1 to 20 on the back of each shirt. Men often wear sleeveless jersey tops with athletic, basketball-style shorts that hit just above the knee. The players wear the knee pads and lightweight athletic shoes with rubber or composite soles. Women's volleyball player. Women wear snug t-shirt, jersey with tight, very short spandex bike shorts. The proper attire is important in volleyball because one of the primary reasons for adopting uniform in sport is identity. Sports uniform help in distinguishing competing teams and players. It is also a form of identification with a country or organization. Today, every team competes wearing uniform for it is essential to convey their unique identity. But wearing a fitted shirt, it is also strategic. One of the basic rules of volleyball is that players, including their clothing, aren't allowed to touch the net, so wearing a fitted shirt means that you're less likely to get a net violation call.
A volleyball shoe provides stability for the lateral movements. The inner cushioning of a volleyball shoe is also a little different than other athletic shoes. It may look very different to basketball shoes or cross trainers, but under the surface, they are very different shoes. Volleyball shoes consist of a gum rubber sole material. The rubber is designed to give excellent traction on the gym floor and prevent the shoes from sliding on the floor. A volleyball shoes should be shock absorbing, lightweight, and flexible. Next is the knee pads. Knee pads help us to keep our knees safe from occasional falls while playing volleyball. A good knee pad can help minimize the impact on the knee, preventing patellar fracture. A knee pad will also protect you from being penetrated by sharp objects. Another is the volleyball net. Volleyball nets are a long rectangular net that is held up between two poles which is placed in the center for team separation. Volleyball net separates the two teams and over which the volleyball must pass. Ang official outdoor nets po ay measured into 32 feet long by 39 inches tall. Ang standard regulation volleyball net height for men is 2.43 meters while ang women's volleyball net height is 2.24 meters.
Now, let's move on to the facility in volleyball. Mahalagang magkaroon tayo ng enough knowledge sa playing court ng volleyball. So, ang volleyball court has different lines and markings that are necessary to help play the game. Ito ang baselines or end lines, sidelines, attack line or 3-meter line, center line, coach restriction line, service line, and antenna, which is a vertical rod that is located on the top of each end of the volleyball net. Volleyball net antenna gives volleyball players and referees a visual aid to judge whether or not a ball is in play or out of bounds as it travels over the net. Those mentioned court lines will be discussed later on. So let's move on. The court is divided by 3 parts, which is the attack zone or front row, defense zone or back row, and the service zone. First is the attack zone. So ano nga ba ang purpose ng attack zone? The attack line is the line in between the front court and back court, dividing each side from front and back row players. This line indicates the front row, where players can attack the ball on offense or block. Next is the defense zone. Nandito nakapositions ang mga back row players. They are the ones who play defense or receive a ball coming from the opponent's serve. Back row players are only allowed to hit the ball over the net if they are behind, or attack as long as na nag-take off sila ng jump from behind the 3-meter line. Next is the service zone. This is where players serve the ball from at the beginning of each rally, and it's located just beyond the end lines on each half of the court. Meron tayong tinatawag na 6 na zone, which is the Zone 1 that is located at right back, Zone 2 located at right front, Zone 3 middle front, Zone 4 left front, Zone 5 left back, Zone 6 middle back. Ang zones na ito ang nag-i-indicate kung saan mo papapuntahin ang iyong service. A head coach or an assistant coach while seated on a team bench will hold up a finger so only you can see it, and that finger will tell you where you need to serve. Minsan, yung mga nasa front row players din or team captain, nagsisenyas din sila kung saan mo ipupunta yung bola. Kapag sa Zone 1, 1 finger. Kapag Zone 2, 2 fingers. 3 fingers for Zone 3, 4 fingers for Zone 4, 5 fingers for Zone 5, at close fist naman kapag Zone 6.
Dito naman tayo sa volleyball court dimensions. Dito natin makikita kung ilang feet ang haba at taas ng mga parts ng volleyball court. Unahin natin yung part ng net. Ang taas ng net for men ay umaabot ng 2.4 meters o katumbas ng 8 feet. Sa babae naman ay umaabot lang ng 2.2 meters o 7 feet. And 4 and 1/4 inches. Ang susunod ay ang width at length ng buong volleyball court. Meron siyang 9 meters o 30 feet at ang length naman ay umaabot ng 18 meters o 60 feet. Sa service area, merong sukat na 3 meters o 10 feet, habang sa safety area ay sumusukat ng 2 meters o 6 feet and 7 inches. Sa mga linya naman, may tinatawag tayong center line, back line, attack line, at sideline. Sa loob mismo ng court, merong front zone and back zone. Ang front zone ay may sukat na 3 meters o 10 feet at ang back zone naman ay 6 meter o 20 feet. Ito naman ay ang itsura ng volleyball court kapag 3D naman siya. Ayan. Ang mga degrees at mga sukat nito ay makikita natin sa bawat mga anggulo.
What is the importance of knowing the dimensions of the volleyball court? Ano nga ba ang importance na malaman natin ang dimension ng volleyball court? Well, understand the importance of the dimensions of volleyball has a great impact on how you play in volleyball. Knowing volleyball rules for volleyball court dimensions help games and matches run more smoothly. Placing the net to the appropriate net height and having correct court floor markings will keep matches from being delayed.
So let's move on the rules and regulations of a volleyball. There are a lot of rules, but the most important are: first, the players can touch the net. Ang isang players dapat di masagid ng anumang parte ng kanilang katawan ang net. Pangalawa, a single person can touch the ball 2 times consecutively. Ang isang player dapat isang beses niya lang itong titirahin, at kapag ito'y 2 beses na tumama sa kanyang katawan ay tatawagin siyang double. Pangatlo, the team is only allowed 3 touches. Sa isang team dapat 3 beses lang itong titirahin. Ang pangatlong tira nila dapat nakapunta na ang bola sa kabilang team. Pang-apat, the serve must start outside the court. Dapat ang pagsaserve po natin ay nasa labas ng court or nasa likod ng court. Hindi dapat tayo magsaserve ng nasa loob or maapakan ang line. And pang-5, blocking a serve isn't allowed. Pag nag-serve po ang kalaban, dapat hindi po natin siya i-block sa harap. Dahil matatawagan po tayo ng violations. Dapat pag nag-serve ang kalaban, kailangan muna natin itong i-receive. Pang-anim, a ball hitting a boundary line is in. Pag nag-spike ang kalaban at tumama ito sa boundary line, ay automatic na score ito. At pang-pito, it is legal to contact the ball with any part of a player's body. Legal po na may tama sa anumang parte ng katawan ang isang bola, lalo na kapag ito emergency. Kadalasan na ginagamit ay paa, dahil ito ay ginagamit para may save ang bola paitaas, o kaya may save ito papunta sa kalaban. And the last, a team must win a set by 2 points. Ang bawat team ay kapag nag-score ng all 24 ay mag-juice ito ng 2. At kung sino magkaka-score at kung sino ang makakauna sa 2 points na yon ay siya na yung panalo.
A ball is out if it hits an antenna, any of the net or cables outside the antenna, referee stand, or pole, the ceiling above the non-playable area. Sinasabi dito na kapag ang bola ay tumama sa antenna, mga cable sa net, sa referee stand or pole, and sa ceiling above the non-playable area, or even kapag natamaan ng referee, it will be considered out. If 2 or more players contact the ball at the same time, it is considered one play, and either player involved may make the next contact, provided the next contact isn't the team's fourth hit. Kapag ang dalawang players ay sabay nilang tinamaan yung bola, legal pa rin iyon at good pa rin yung play. Considered as one touch yon. So, pwede pa rin mag-make ng next contact ang kakampi mo. Next is, a player may not hit the ball twice in succession. A block is not considered a hit. Your team will still have 3 touches. Isang rule din ito sa laro ng volleyball. Kasi kapag natamaan or tinamaan mo yung bola ng 2 beses, matatawagan ka ng double violation. And when it comes to blocking, kapag tumama sa kamay ng blocker at pumasok sa court side nyo, it is not considered as a hit. So meron pa rin kayong 3 touches. Lastly, a team only rotates in volleyball if they receive a serve after winning a rally with the other team. If your team receives the serve, all 6 of your players must rotate once clockwise so that the new server rotates from the right front to the right back of the court. Magro-rotate lang ang team if sila ang magsiserve after nilang makapuntos. Siguraduhin na tama ang pag-rotate sa volleyball, dapat clockwise. Kapag nakita ng referee na mali ang inyong rotation, matatawagan ang team nyo ng rotation fault or rotational violation, and your team will lose a point and the other team will get the serve.
Let's now move forward to the violations. First violation is the 4 hits. A 4 hits violation occurs when a team makes contact with the volleyball more than 3 times in one rally. For example, if ZJ received the ball and passed it to Jaed and passed it to Elvin, and if Elvin accidentally or intentionally passed it to Cyril, who hit it bago mapaibabalik sa kabilang team, the team has committed a 4 hits violation. Next violation is a foot fault. A foot fault is committed during a serve when a player steps on or over the service line before making contact with the ball. Sa paglalaro ng volleyball, may mga lines doon. At sa pagsaserve, may service line doon na dapat hindi mo maapakan when you are going to serve. If ever na naapakan mo yon before you hit the ball, then the violation is called. A player can pass the service line once they hit the ball in one fluid motion. Next is contacting the ball illegally. Contacting the ball includes lifting, carrying, throwing, and etc. Players may not catch or throw the ball at any point during a match. If ang isang player ay sinalo o hinagis yung bola, the referee will call an illegal contact and yung points is mapupunta sa kalaban na team. Another form of a ball handling error is called a lift. This is when player has elongated contact with the ball and essentially lifts it instead of hitting it upward. This penalty will also be called if a player attempts to underhand pass the ball with an open palm. In terms of set naman, when a lift is called for a set, it means the player that was setting held the ball too long or brought it down too low toward their face or chest. Also, if yung player uses the palm sa pag-set instead na yung fingertips niya, is tawag pa rin yun na violation. Next is contact with the net. A volleyball player can make a contact with the net during the action of playing the ball. Ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin nito? If the player touched the net while jumping to hit or landing it will called against you. Makakakuha ka ng net fault by intending na tirahin yung bola and you touch the net. Well, may exception nga ba ito? Yes, merong exemption dito if the ball is driven into the net with such force that it causes the net to contact an opposing player. Walang foul or violation na matatawag and the ball shall continue to be in play. Next is reaching over net. Sa may reaching violations naman, pwede itong mangyari both during blocking and hitting. Ang mga blocking players are not allowed to reach across the plane of the net to touch the ball kung ang opposite team has not touched the ball 3 times yet and there is a player present who can get to the ball.
Attacking faults. The following are volleyball violations for attacking. A back row player completes an attack hit from the front zone if at the moment of contact the ball is entirely above the top of the net. Kung natamaan ng manlalaro ang bola gamit ang kanilang paa sa o higit sa 10 feet na linya, tatawagin ang back row attack fault at mawawalan ng puntos ang aming kuponan at ang mga manlalaro sa back row ay hindi rin pinapayagan tumalon at humarang sa net. An opponent completes an attack hit on the serve ball when the ball is the front zone and the ball is entirely above the top of the net. Ang unang pag-atake sa larangang volleyball ay ang serving. Ang pagsiserve ay madalas ang violation ang pagtawid sa line, habang nagsiserve ang isang kalahok ay isang violation. Libero completes an attack hit if at the moment of contact, the ball is entirely above the top of the net. Ang tungkulin ng isang libero ay buhayin at salbahin ang bola, kaya't isang violation ang pag-atake ng libero sa loob ng back row line. At kahit lumagpas ang kamay nito sa taas ng net at pinalo niya ang bola ay kinoconsider ito na isang violation. A player completes an attack hit from the higher than the top of the net when the ball is coming from an overhand finger pass by a libero in the front zone. Ang pag-overhand ng libero sa loob ng back row line para atakihin ng spiker ang bola ay isa ding violation dahil ang libero ay dapat nasa labas ng back row line upang depensahan ang mga atake ng kalaban. Penetration under the net. A player is allowed to penetrate under the net into their opponent's space as long as there is no interference with their play. But your foot must not step completely onto their court. A player can cross into their opponent's free zone, the area around the perimeter of the court, as long as it doesn't interfere with their play. A player can also cross into their opponent's court after the ball is out of play. Ang isang penetration ay parang hindi mo pwedeng guluhin yung play ng kalaban at syempre wag lalagpas ang mga paa mo sa linya ng ilalim ng net kasi isang trespassing yon. At pwede ka lang tumapak sa court nila kapag hindi pa na-serve and kapag hindi pa nagsisimula yung play. Assisted hit. It's illegal for a player within the playing area take support from a teammate or other structure while attempting to hit the ball. For example, if there is a certain or ball net separating the courts, a teammate can move the certain to assist a teammate in making a play on the ball. Or when spiking teammate cannot carry his teammate to jump higher for an attack. Assisted hit, bawal tumulong yung mga player na wala sa playing area, more like court, and sa mga player na wala sa mga nasa playing area. Back row player blocking. Deflecting a ball coming from their opponents when at the moment of contact, the back row player is near the net and has part of his/her body above the top of the net, an illegal block. Kapag ikaw ay nasa back row line ay hindi ka pwedeng pumunta sa loob ng back row line upang mag-block o pigilan ang pag-atake ng kalaban. Dahil ito ay isang violation. Ang maaari lang na magkaroon ng blockings sa kalaban ay mga pasok sa mga nasa loob ng back row line. And the last one, crossing the court center line. A center line violation occurs whenever a player legally crosses their hands or feet over the center line. Crossing one hands or over the center line is legal in most cases except when it occurs before or during an opponent's attack, hit, or when interferes with the opposing team play. Bawal mag-cross yung feet or arms ng player sa center line except bago or habang nag-a-attack, hit, or nasali sa way ng opposing team play.
Let's move on to the officials in volleyball. In volleyball, there are 4 officials. The first referee, second referee, scorer, and line judges. First referee, also known as the top referee. He or she is responsible for seeing the match run to completion. So itong first referee ay in charge sa pagmamanage sa buong laro. Siya ay nabibigay ng senyas kapag magsaserve na yung player. Siya din yung nagbibigay ng mga calls sa violation and faults. Sa kanya din malalaman ang final decision of sino ang magpupuntos. Second referee stands opposite the main referee and responsible for all substitutions, timeouts, and the actions of the scorer's table. So itong second referee, siya yung tumutulong sa first referee sa pagdedetermine ng mga faults sa buong laro. Kung magpapalit naman ng mga player at magta-timeout, sa second referee lang magsasabi. Scorer. The scorekeeper's main job is to make sure the score is correct at all times. Itong scorer is makikita siya sa likod ng second referee and gumagamit sila ng score sheet sa pagre-record ng mga puntos. Line judges. Each line judge controls an end line and entire sideline. Mayroong at least 2 or 4 line judges sa isang game at makikita sila sa corners ng court. Then gumagamit sila ng mga flag to indicate kung babagsak ba ang bola inside or outside the court. Then tinutulungan din nila ang mga referees sa pagdetermine if the blockers touches the ball.
Let's now move forward to the technical skills. Serving. Serving is used by a player to launch the ball over the net to start a rally. The serving is only skill controlled solely by one player. An advanced player take advantage of this fact by developing their serving skills.
Overhand serve. In volleyball, an overhand serve is one in which the player tosses the ball with one hand and strikes it in the air above their head with the other. Overhand serving is more advanced than underhand serving. Underhand serve. An underhand serve is usually the simplest to learn. Beginning players often have more control over where the ball lands when using this serve, allowing them to target specific areas of the court.
Another type of serving is the sidearm serve and the jump serve. Paano nga ba ang sidearm serve? First thing you do is stand sideways with respect to the net. Keep your legs slightly open, knees slightly bent, and torso leaning forward. Actually, ang sidearm serve po is hindi normally nare-recommend sa volleyball or it is infrequently used. Paano naman ang jump serve? Ang jump serve ay ang most difficult na ini-execute na serve. First of all, when attempting a jump serve, importante na mag-start tayo with the several feet behind the end line. Ang first step for jump serve is to place the ball in the left hand. Second, toss the ball high and several feet in front of you. Third is an abbreviated attack approach, swinging both arms behind you and then forward and up while stepping forward with the left foot and then a quick hop. Next is jump up and forward, making sure to take off behind the end line. Then contact the ball at the top of your reach and the top of your jump. And lastly, strike the ball toward the top of the back with your palm and follow through with your arm swing, aiming outward and downward to put topspin on the ball.
Forearm pass. Forearm pass or forearm volleyball pass involve hitting the ball in a controlled manner to your teammate. The forearms are made into a flat platform positioned ready for the ball to come into contact. The arms aren't necessarily swung when passing. Swinging the arms will result in a less controlled pass. Okay, so ang forearm pass, isa ito sa importanteng dapat tandaan kung naglalaro ng volleyball. The forearm pass used to receive a serve or a spike from the opponent. So, paano naman natin gagawin ito ng tama? There are 3 important steps when doing the forearm pass. Number 1, keep your arms together. Number 2, keep both feet on the ground. Number 3, move quickly to position yourself behind the ball. If you remember these 3 steps, magagawa natin ng mahusay ang forearm pass. Now, ano naman yung mga tamang posisyon ng arms and feet natin kapag gagawin natin ito? There are 7 ways naman. Number 1, contact ball on forearm. Number 2, wrap hand around fist with thumbs up. Number 3, thumbs next to each other. Number 4, elbows in. Number 5, arms away from body. Number 6, knees bent. Number 7, feet shoulder width apart. Most important, kung gagawin natin ang forearm pass, huwag nating masyadong iswing ang iyong kamay natin because it will result lost control or maaaring lumabas yung bola sa court at maaaring tumaas yung bola at hindi na natin ito marireceive.
Next, we have setting. So, ano nga ba ang setting? Setting is the second step of passing. Setting role is to create a play and score. Dapat ang setter ang makakuha ng second ball upang makaperform ito ng set that allows the hitter to spike it over. Hindi basta-basta ang pagsiset. Kaya nga sinasabi nila na ang setter position ay ang buhay at utak sa laro. So, paano nga ba ang tamang pagsiset? Bring your hands together. Put your hands together with your fingertips touching. Open up your hands forming a triangle with your index fingers and thumbs. Bring your fingers apart to a distance that would be perfect for placing a ball. This is the position you want to get your hands in just before you contact in ball setting. Once you contact the ball, push through with your hands and arms. Release the ball with straight arms. As you push with your arms, push with your legs to get more distance on your set. Follow through once the ball has left your hands so that the backs of your hand are facing each other. When setting a volleyball, the volleyball should only be contacted by your fingers and never the palms of your hand kasi matatawagan ka ng violation. Ang pagsiset ng accurate and on time for the hitter is crucial. Dapat alam mo basahin ng mga hitters at alam mo kung saan mo papapuntahin ng bola. A good setter should be able to move around and react quickly. Pwede din makascore gamit ang setting kapag nag-decide ang setter to play the volleyball over the net instead na mag-set sila for their teammate. This kind of play or attack is often called as setter dump or mas familiar na term na tinatawag dito ay hulog. So we have types of set. We have shoot set, quick set, 2 set, 3 set, 4 set, and back set.
Shoot set. A shoot set is a quick, low set to a hitter hitting outside. Ang shoot set ay karaniwan na ginagawa ng setter ay iseset ito sa dulo ng net upang sa ganon ay makakapalo ang hitter sa dulo or sa outside ng court. Pangalawa, one set or quick set. this is a low set that is hit while the ball is still going up or has just peaked. Ang quick set naman ay isang mabilis na play sa isang team. Ginagawa ng setter dito ay ang pag-set ng mabilis sa middle spiker ng medyo mababa or sakto lang sa pagtalon ng middle spiker. Pag sa ganon, ang pagpalo ng middle spiker ay mabilis at hindi ito madedepensa ng kalaban. Pangatlo, two-set. A two-set is a set in the middle of the court at net, usually to the middle hitter. Ang two-set ay parang quick set, mas mataas lamang ito kaysa sa quick set. Ang two-set ay karaniwan na pumapalo dito ay ang mga middle spiker. Pang-apat, three-set. A three-set is a quick set about halfway between the outside and middle. Ang 3 set ay sineset ng setter sa spiker ng di ganong mataas upang sa ganon mapalo ng spiker ng mabilis at hindi ito mablablak ng kalaban. Karaniwan na ginagamit ang 3 set kapag fake play ang gagawin ng isang team. Pang-5, 4 set. A 4 set is a set that goes high to the outside hitter. Ang 4 set ay sineset ng setter ng mataas upang sa ganon makapalo ang mga nasa likod na spiker. At papaluin nila ito sa may outside hitter. At panghuli, back set. A set delivered behind the setter's back. Ang back set ay sineset ng setter papunta sa kanyang likod ng di gaanong mataas upang sa ganon ang spiker ay makapalo ng mabuti. Ang back set ay karaniwan din ginagamit upang pang-fake sa mga middle blocker ng kalaban. At yan lamang po ang ilan sa mga ginagamit na pagsiset ng bola sa volleyball.
So to finish up our reporting, let's have the volleyball etiquettes. 14 unwritten rules in volleyball.
Help with setting up and putting away the equipment. Setting up the net and getting the court ready is a necessary part of every game. Hindi na dapat trabaho ng referee ang iayos o mag-ayos ng mga gagamitin ng mga maglalaro. If your league plays at a community recreation center, the staff may do the setting up. However, for most leagues, nasa mga manlalaro na ang mag-set up at mag-ayos ng mga kagamitan na ginamit sa paglalaro. No swearing. Sa kahit na anong laro, hindi ka dapat nagmumura o magmumura, lalo na sa isang tao o sa iyong kalaban at kuponan. The foolish and weak practice of profane cursing and swearing is a vice so mean and low that every person of sense and character detests and despises it. No trash talking the other team through the net. Bilang isang manlalaro, huwag mong ita-trash talk o pagsasabihan ng hindi maganda ang kapwa mo manlalaro sa kabilang team, kahit na kayo ay magkalaban. Dahil lagi mong tatandaan na magkalaban lamang kayo dahil sa laro. Ang isang volleyball player o kahit sinong atleta ay may disiplina at paggalang sa kanilang sarili at sa kanilang kalaban. If you're tempted to make comments on the other team's play, just keep it positive. No trash talking the ref. And definitely don't trash talk the referee, no matter how bad his or her calls may be. There is only one player on the court who should be talking to the ref, and that's the court captain, who is assigned before the game starts. Bad-mouthing the referee could even result in a yellow card or if it's a heated enough exchange, a red card. A yellow card is a warning to the player to tone down their attitude, while a red card means getting kicked out of the game and giving a point to the opposing team.
Always roll the ball under the net, don't throw it. Always roll the ball under the net instead of throwing it over. It's just a more controlled way of getting the ball to the other side of the court. Also, between rallies, some players just aren't paying attention to the ball anymore. So they may not realize the ball is coming their way. And during warm-up, there's always so much happening on the court that a player could easily not see another ball that is flying through the air. Next is, don't roll the ball when a player is jumping. Para sa akin, isa ito sa dapat pinakatandaan ng isang volleyball player. During hitting warm-up, if you see a player na tumatalon or tatalon pa lang para mag-spike ng bola or mag-block, do not roll the ball in their direction. It's so easy for a player to land on a volleyball, which would cause them to come crashing down to the floor and could result in a really bad injury. Kasi if natapakan ng isang player yung bola coming from a jump, talagang mamamali yung landing nila dahil hindi ito stable. So malaki talaga yung possibility that an injury may occur. Don't kick the volleyball. When rolling the ball to return it, it might be tempting to give that ball a swift kick instead of rolling it. However, this is generally thought to be inappropriate dahil kapag sinipa ang volleyball, pwedeng masira yung inside bladder, yung rubber core. Hindi naman kasi ito dinesign talaga for kicking. However, the fact that playing volleyball with your foot is legal way to play the volleyball, pero kapag kinakailangan lang, hindi dahil gusto mo lang sipain. Next is, don't roll your eyes when your teammates make a mistake. Kapag nagkamali yung ka-teammate mo, educate them properly, correct them properly. Hindi yung magpapakita ka ng attitude sa kanila. Mas okay na malaman nila kung saan sila nagkamali. Sa larong volleyball, hindi naman tayo perpekto. May mga circumstances talaga na mag-error tayo. Kaya kapag nagkamali yung teammate mo, don't say anything bad. Isipin mo na lang paano kapag ikaw naman yung nagkamali. Suportahan at encourage na lang ang isa't isa para sa susunod ay maiwasan ng mga mistakes while playing volleyball. Own up to your mistakes. When it is your turn to be the one making the mistakes, it's always best to just own up to it. This is actually more for yourself than for your teammates. If you don't acknowledge that you made mistake, you can't even start to improve it. Kapag na-hit mo yung bola pero out, don't blame the setter. Kapag di mo na-set ng maayos, wag mong i-blame yung pasa. If di mo na-receive or na-dig ng maayos, don't blame the blockers. Instead, kapag naranasan mo ang mga ito, tanggapin mo na lang na mali mo ito. At least, alam mo kung ano yung dapat mong i-work during training. And in that way, pwede mo ito ma-improve.
Don't just set your friend. Ibig sabihin, wag lang laging set ng set kasi maaaring di nila ito matamaan. Mas magandang magkaroon ng matalinong plano para mautakan ng kalaban. Don't hit the ball after the whistle has blown. Ibig sabihin, kapag magsaserve, hintayin muna ang pito bago mo ito iserve sa kalaban. Maaaring makapuntos ang kalaban kapag tinira mo ang bola nang wala pang pito. There's still lots to do when you're sitting on the bench. Hindi lang pag-upo ang gagawin mo kapag nakaupo ka sa bench. Pwede kang mag-stretching, kumondisyon ng katawan, o magbigay ng command sa mga kasama mo. Even when you're not playing, keep an eye on the court. Huwag tumingin sa mga babaeng maganda kapag di naglalaro. Baka kasi hindi makita ng referee o ng lineman ang bola. Kaya dapat maging alerto ka sa bawat sitwasyon ng laro. Always shake hands at the end of the game. Manalo man o matalo, dapat masanay na makipag-shake hands pagkatapos ng laro. Magpapakita ito ng pagkakaisa at humbleness, kaya dapat nasanayin ito.